Radio Rahim with the living legend, Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, I don't get nervous that often around fighters. We're friends, but every time I see you, man, the history comes down on my head, and I can't help but just be honored in your presence. I have so much to talk about, but let's cut to the chase, man. This place where we are right now, just 6 days ago, one of the biggest upsets in boxing. Anthony Joshua was stopped by Andrew Ruiz. Do you think it was the biggest upset in boxing?
It was one of the biggest upsets. I mean, no one expected that. I would say 99.9% people didn't think that Ruiz had a chance, myself included.
What was the difference between what we thought about Ruiz and who Ruiz really is?
Well, the fact that it's a heavyweight and that you give a puncher's chance, even though if they're not a puncher, you still have to give them a puncher's chance. And no one believed he would win except Ruiz.
The question becomes when an upset like this happens, 22-1, I think on fight night, 33-1 at its height. Did Andrew Ruiz, was it all about him, or did Joshua play a part in losing that fight?
I'm still not sure of that, and I know fully well that happens to most of us, myself included, that we're such a heavy favorite that we're not as connected with this and our physical aspect. And I don't think he took him lightly. I don't think he did, but that's a possibility from a overall mental standpoint, psychological standpoint.
What does this do to the fight with Wilder? So many people were bemoaning, like, having lost that super fight. Could still happen. Does it change your feelings about it? What do you think about Wilder Joshua still?
Well, Joshua has come back and redeemed himself. I'm sure that rematch will take place pretty soon, and we'll see.
The rematch with Ruiz obviously has to happen first. What changes, if anything?
Well, you know what? Ruiz will still feel even strong. I mean, put it this way. It's going to be a big fight because that fight is going to decide upon who fights Wilder next.
And lastly, the next big pay-per-view fight, or at least a super fight coming up, is Thurman Pacquiao. The legend Pacquiao, Thurman, you know, is talking a lot of trash. How do you see that fight?
They should talk trash. I mean, it's such a, you have Pacquiao. Pacquiao's what, 40 years old now?
Yeah.
They call me old at 30. But it's going to be, I want to see that fight. And who's going to win? We'll see.
Lastly, you are a huge fight fan. We love to see you ringside. Is there a fight that particularly that you're looking forward to? What's the big matchup that Sugar Ray Leonard wants to see?
Well, naturally, I want to see the Wilder fight, you know, and Joshua. I want to see that fight. But Ruiz, congratulations, my man. But, you know, hey, this is what happens in boxing. It's nothing new.
What happens in Wilder Joshua, knowing what we now know? A lot of people think Wilder has been beaten too by Fury.
You know what? That's a whole different ball game. And first thing first, the rematch.
Radio Rahim with Sugar Ray Leonard at Madison Square Garden. Couldn't be a better day for me, man. I appreciate the time. It's always an honor and a pleasure to talk to the legend, Sugar Ray Leonard.